Hey, it's Jack from the Online Real Estate Academy and Jack Gately Real Estate, and today I want to talk about the announcement that came out in the last couple of days about Realogy. Is that how you pronounce it? I've always had trouble with that name. Anyways, they're the big corporate holding company behind a lot of the big names that you know about in real estate, like Coldwell Banker and Century 21 and Sotheby's. Yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah, they're actually they're all basically the same company. Some franchises might be locally owned and operated. But, you know, if you ever thought that, well, I didn't like that experience I had with Century 21, I'll go to Coldwell Banker this time. Yeah, it's basically the same company. Anyways, so they're the largest real estate agency, so to speak, in the entire country. Yeah, they're big time. I'm not big time. Well, I'm big time on YouTube with my 1,000+ subscribers. Thank you so much. But they're super big time, like really big time. And what they came out with the other day is they want the National Association of Realtors, through their ownership of the MLS, the balkanized MLS system that we have, to make commission sharing, which is now mandatory. It's a foundational principle of the MLS system, to make MLS sharing between seller agency and buyer agency optional. So, yeah, that would be interesting. Here in Massachusetts, we have the buyer's agent commission now visible to the buying public, to anybody. So, if you go on Zillow or someplace like that, right where they list all the features of the property, you can also find out how much of a percentage of the purchase price is being offered to the buying agency. Of course, the buyer's agent gets a portion of that. They split it with their brokerage, of course, depending upon their comp plan. So that has been a kind of facilitating the sharing of commissions between agencies. As I said, has been a foundational principle of the multiple listing service for since day one, basically, decades. So they want to make that optional. Why? Well, at least one reason. First off, a lot of this pressure is coming out of these lawsuits, which you may have heard about and you may have heard me speak about, out of the Midwest predominantly, relative to antitrust and whether or not buyer's agents should get paid at all, or whether the buyer's agent should seek a commission directly from the buyer and not have it kind of routed through the seller, which is the predominant way things now happen now. The seller pays the fee to the seller agency or list agency, and then technically that list agency shares it with the buyer's agency. So just to break things down, if the total commission is 5%, some portion of that 5% is then paid towards the buyer's agency. And as I said, here in Massachusetts, that is disclosed to the buyer. I'm running a business here, and now I have a question. I'm going to have to answer that in a second. And so, if the total commission is 5%, maybe the buyer's agency is getting 2.5%. So that's why a buyer's agent would feel comfortable showing the property, because they know through their participation in the multiple listing service that their commission, should they make an offer, have it get accepted, and the deal closed, that through their membership through the MLS, that they are going to get paid, because both agencies are members of the MLS, and as a condition of being a member of MLS, if you post a shared commission like 2.5%, then you're obligated to pay it. It's basically a binding contract between two members of a voluntary association. And that's why, for instance, they can't lower the commission rate after they've accepted your offer. No. It's a binding contract through two members. Hey, we posted 2.5, you're going to have to pay it, or they're going to have to pay it. So Realogy, however you say that, now wants to make that 2.5% commission not something that the seller has to pay. So this would be very much attuned I have a real life example here to the Boston apartment market, where some of you might know that's where I started off in this business, where back then, a decade ago when I started renting apartments in Boston as a kind of like a part-time gig, you could get a fee from the landlord, but much more likely the fee to rent the apartment would be paid for by the tenant that you were helping to find the apartment. In other words, the buyer. And that's how almost all your deals were done. Now, if you had a exclusive listing as an apartment, you could put that out in the market and find a buyer all your own and get all the commission, or you could co-broke it. Of course, co-broke or go broke, right? So this would now make it optional to co-broke. That's a good way to think about it. Optional to co-broke. This would be a discussion that you'd have with your seller and the seller's agent. So what does all this mean? Well, first off, none of this is going to happen anytime soon. So don't panic or anything like that. And representing buyers is still going to be a viable business model for the foreseeable future. However, it is a strong reminder that representing sellers has always and will continue to be the best strategy. When you have a listing, I don't care what the market conditions are. I don't care what the compensation conditions are. When you have a listing, there are tons of spin-off opportunities that you get from a listing. Representing sellers has been and always continues to be the strongest business model as a real estate agency or as a real estate agent. Think of it, just basic things. If you have a listing, you can put a sign out front that has your name on it. If you have a listing, you can have an open house where you can meet other clients. If you have a listing, you can mail the neighborhood. You can knock doors saying, hey, we're about to put that. You can find ways to meet other people and pick up other clients. If you have a buyer and you're helping them buy a home, can you put a sign in their yard? No. So you don't get as many spin-off marketing opportunities with buyers as you do with sellers. And listings have always been the way it is. So I'm going to keep you up to date on this. This is a very slow-moving story. And I know this antitrust suits have been for years, but this is a big development. Realogy, however you say their name, they're big time. And for them to announce this reminds all of us how important listings are for your business now and forever. All right, I'm Jack Gately from the Online Real Estate Academy and Jack Gately Real Estate in beautiful Massachusetts. Have a great day.